Welcome, everyone, to the Mindful Selfish Teacher. Today we have an awesome guest who's a very special person to us and just a beautiful spirit. Her name is Stacy Mueller, and she is a life coach. So, welcome today,
Thank
Stacy. Thank you so
you.
much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
We're so happy to have Stacy with us. Stacy, what we'd love to hear is a little bit about why life coaching. Like, why did you decide to go into life coaching as a profession? Like, why are you here? What happened?
It's a great question, and I think sometimes our paths lead us to places where we're maybe mentoring after a long career, or maybe we decide that I really want to come alongside of people. And I think that was really after working as a nurse and a leader and teaching. I just really felt that I wanted to go into life coaching, really come alongside of people, and even if it's individual or group setting, and just help them to may help with achieving their personal and professional goals. Really, sometimes we just have to have a little bit of time to overcome some things in our lives, and sometimes we just need someone that's kind of coming alongside of us, cheering us on, albeit, if I could say it that way, and working through some of those strategies as well. I think it's something that we have to learn by overcoming obstacles. Some of those things, we're not where we were before in our life, but we're certainly on a journey. And so it's good to be able to see people progress. And with my coaching, I call it a fresh start. It's growing forward. So, yeah.
Well, I hope it's okay that I throw in this extra question. Was there like a moment, a light bulb moment where you're like, this is it for me. This is life, like the life coaching side of things. This is what I want to do, or was it more of a gradual thing? Like, how did you know personally that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I saw this word on life coaching once, and it was called resilience, and almost being able to bounce back. And having gone through many difficult times in my own life, and really, I believe that the experiences that I've learned myself, I believe those are what were the building blocks of me becoming a life coach. I continued on becoming a business coach and a master coach, but I stayed with the life coaching because I felt that I could in fact come alongside of educators after having been an educator and having worked in community. I think choosing this profession was supporting others and helping them achieve, well, we call it balance, don't we, in life, like to live a life of purpose and maybe not stay in the pain that people are in, and also to embrace joy. The name selfish. Now I'm like, when I first heard selfish, we all know what selfish means, but we know that the opposite is absolutely true. That is that a teacher, an educator, a principal is a person that gives selflessly of themselves. And I can see how, as a life coach, I've helped businessmen and women in their profession, just again coming alongside of them, talking about resilience, and also drawing from my own experiences, being able to be a good listener to what they're going through. And I think people need to have that confidant. They need to have someone they can confide in, someone that they can share. And so I think that was really the goal for me, is to be like a lighthouse, a person that is steady, a person that's calm. Probably a lot of the things I went through in my life have helped me become calm. I don't think I mentioned that I raised 4 boys as a single mother. So, things like that is like the sandpaper effect, right? It causes you to become calm even if you don't want to be. But I think having raised sons and now in their 30s, and they as well have been educated, I see how you're like a lighthouse. A teacher and an educator is like a lighthouse. They need to just be steady. Sometimes that lighthouse can have pain and so on, but boats and ships are going either the rocks are going by to the next city. But a teacher, they just take their cup of tea, they go upstairs, they turn on the light. They are an anchor. You're an anchor to the education, to children, to this generation and the next generation as well. So it's really a very valued and beautiful profession, and we honor you. And that's why I love that. Selfish. We want you to be selfish for yourself today.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you actually answered the question I was about to ask.
I was
Uh,
gonna agree
yeah,
for it.
Oh,
I was
really?
yeah,
like,
yeah,
where
you're
we
like,
got from that question on to the next one.
yeah,
Just
no,
let an
you,
educator just keep going, right?
yeah, no, I think we're good on that one. It was basically just why focus on
Mm,
high demand, high burnout
mhm,
professions, and
mhm,
obviously
mhm,
you
mhm, mhm,
lived that
mhm.
life and you understand
Yeah.
exactly what teachers
Well,
go
when you think of burnout, like when you think of burnout, when you mentioned burnout, there's like lots of different things that could be. And I thought it would just meant stress and so on in life when it like way back, but I realized there's a whole component of burnout. And I'm not a statistics person, but I'm going to just say that there was a survey of I think it was 20,000 people, and it was globally, to find out that, and it doesn't make sense the margins of this, but 50% of the employers or the employees and 53% of the managers were feeling burned out. So that's well over 100, of course. They were feeling burned out at what? At their work. One thing that I was reading was that the weight of this world is no person's, is no one person's to carry this. Yet burnout can feel like you're doing that. It feels like you're carrying the weight of the world, and it's a form of exhaustion. It occurs when we feel overwhelmed of the situation, when we're unable to like maintain like an adequate balance in our life. It can affect our physical body, it can affect our mental health. There's so many areas, really, our emotions. And I once taught a course, I went across Canada to the private colleges, and it was on handling student anxiety, or handling student stress. I said, can we first start with the professors and the teachers? Handling professors, because a lot happens in en route to school. A lot happens in the parking lot. And you're ready to go in. All of a sudden, something, you get a call. It's your own family, your own life, your own health. Things are going on in your own life. So we know that burnout can happen with prolonged emotional, physical, and just that mental stress as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that brings us to my next question is like first,
Mhm.
let's just talk about burnout with teachers.
Mhm.
Burnout with teachers right now, let's just take the US population, right? Like there's others,
Mhm.
of course, but let's just take the US population.
Yep.
4 out of 5 new teachers burn out within the first 5 years.
Mm.
You know, Ruth and I are obviously past that burnout stage, but we've also had that burnout fatigue, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So 4 out of 5 brand new baby teachers trying to
Mhm.
make the world a better place.
Yeah.
They
And
lose.
that's where this just even though we're on a podcast here, there's so much in resource that's available to teachers, and that's why starting this the selfish mindful teacher is because you are aware of what the needs are, and having people surround them. This is more than just a podcast. This is totally tribe for those that are listening or those that are viewing, because like you said, 4 to 5. Well, there was a medical doctor. He think his name is Goodman. Anyways, he also was in the mental health field, and he said that there's three things that or three types of burnout. One is overload. I even say that word, we all know what that means. But it's when you are like you've got a drive and you've got an effort to achieve and to create and just to, but it's at an unsustainable pace. And so that's where it's called overload, because we disregard our health and our physical need that we have as well, our health and our personal life. Our personal life suffers. Number two, he mentions is under challenged. So when you're unfulfilled and you view your role as like monotonous, and that you've become almost disconnected to the passion that you once had. And then number three was neglect. And that's when you feel helpless, frustrated. Maybe there's someone today even listening that feels that frustration and doesn't really kind of know what to do, but has stumbled across this because they're like, I'm not selfish. They've come. I love that. I know I keep harping on that. But when you feel helpless, you're frustrated, you're unable to find solutions to stressful situations, this is that place. This might be that day where you finally feel, I am not alone. And really, with the resources that we have and that you're able to provide on this, people can maybe step into a little bit more freedom, because, we're not where we were before in life, and maybe we're not where we want to be, but we're here today. And maybe it was intentional that you came on this, or again, maybe you stumbled on this, but you have a purpose. And maybe that pain that you've had in your life is something that's stopping you from becoming all that you can be as an educator. Or maybe you're a principal, or you lead a school. Maybe you're someone that is in a position of authority, someone that maybe just needs to have a cup of tea, go for a walk, maybe just go for a country drive, maybe talk to a friend, maybe journal. Sometimes it's just an overwhelming, overlooked area. You don't see it for yourself. But so hopefully that the good news is that you go away with today knowing that you're not alone, and that that's what this podcast is all about, is coming alongside teachers, right, and educators. So yeah.
Definitely experienced both of those types of burnouts simultaneously.
Yeah,
I
I
was thinking
agree.
on her too. Yeah, both overloaded with types of tasks that are just not sustainable, and it's like
Mhm.
all the time, and you're not being challenged at the same time.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
I don't know if I can speak for every teacher, but at least for me, I think
Yeah.
that only exacerbated my
Mhm.
burnout, because the types of tasks I was doing were those um, repetitive, unfulfilling type of tasks. So yeah, I think that definitely speaks to why teachers especially.
I just really appreciate both of you, just working so hard, and also taking time to speak to the educator on here. And so it's such an honor to be able to be here with you, and for those that are listening in or viewing as well. One thing I wanted to say, I had written in my little handy dandy book here, and it's big moments. So I know I heard this somewhere, but big moments rarely change your life. It's the small ones that do. And that doesn't mean just small children. That means it's the small things, that those moments that change a life and change your life too. And it seems like a small thing to say, oh, well, maybe you need to have, or maybe it might be helpful to go for a walk in your day, like just even outside, get some sun, and then come back in, like maybe helping some vitamin D. Maybe there's a practical way of helping. Um, Maybe the schedule has to change a little bit. I know having four sons, trying to work a job and try to get them where they need to be was a lot. I also realize that it really does weigh on your mental health as well. And you don't realize sometimes because it's a slow move, right? And with the coaching, a fresh start, I use a process called growing forward. And I start by just really talking to and sharing about picturing. Like, we have to picture something before we can plan, before we can plow the ground, before we can plant something. We need to it is you want. If you need more, if you need time for yourself, if you need to have a break, if you need to shorten some hours for a certain amount of time, if you need to have help in your classroom, which we know that a lot of people ask for help and may not get that right away, or may not, but but the resources that are available are a lot more than they were, say, 15 years ago. And so we hope that be able to tap into some of those resources as well. So,
so in your experience as a life coach, what makes life coaching different for teachers? And what piece of advice would you want teachers to take in?
Well, life coaching for teachers, educators, principals, etc., requires an understanding of the unique challenges and demands. And if we pause and talk about the shortages of teachers in the education system, sometimes, like you mentioned, many leave that profession due to the high stress and burnout and long hours. So it's finding a way to assist and come alongside teachers to help prioritize some of the needs that they have over their life. And that's why I say a lot of, you may try this to see. I think holding back on saying you need this, because everybody has unique needs, and especially with the educator. So a teacher, let me just tell you a news flash here. A teacher often prioritizes others before themselves. I know I'm
No, it is.
But that is what leads to burnout. So as a coach, I focus on helping the teachers develop that self-care in their habits, to set boundaries. Remember, boundaries are not for someone else. Boundaries are for us. We set those boundaries for ourselves, and cultivate a resilience, as I mentioned when we first started talking, to really maintain a passion for teaching. Sometimes people say, oh, why did you do that? How about, like, what are my plans? What have I pictured? What am I planning? I know I have to plow the ground. Going to plant. I have a little farm, and if I know that I want to plant corn, but I have a package of bush beans. I'm gonna put them in there, and I expect to get corn. I'm not going to get that. I know for a fact that I have a sunflower out there that is almost 14 big. I call it Jack, and my sister said, she gave me these seeds, and she said, oh, they won't. It's been 5 years. I said, well, I do know with seeds, though, you can keep them for a long time, and it depends on the soil. It depends on how you've like rototilled the ground, and how you've really just gotten in and put the right nutrients in there. Now, I didn't go digging up to see, are you really growing to be a sunflower? I didn't go. I let it be. And before you know it, the stalk is like this big, and it's huge. It's beautiful. But I knew that I had to step forward. I had to plant something, but I had to plow the ground first. So really, cultivating a resilience to maintain that passion for teaching is going to have to come from deep within. And you'll have to know what it is I need to do to keep going forward and to be able to support the students effectively. So, like I said, for myself, raising my sons is very different than being in a college situation teaching, because I'm dealing with so many different personalities, different ways people handle things. I've had emotional overload with some students. I've had all in one day. So then for you to go home and to be able to be all that for your own family, sometimes there can be that disconnect. And I can see how, um, you know, if you feel drained in that, technique can take over. You know how to do this, you know how to teach. It's just learning some of the things along the side of like, okay, when I get this, maybe I'm going to be mindful and take a minute to breathe. Well, don't you breathe all the time? Yeah, but there's techniques of breathing that can really help you to like let go of that stress, right? And I cover that as well in my coaching, and also being able to put those into practice, right? We can know a lot of things, but if we don't start to try to do that, that's where the breakdown can happen in our communication, because we're like, oh, I don't know what to do first. Well, this is one of those things. It's fresh start. That's what I call it, growing forward. And I think the crucial piece would be prioritizing their own self-compassion as a teacher, as an educator. So that's where it's different, because they're always giving. Like I said, now I'm going to cry. Um, so like taking care of a person. So taking care of oneself is not selfish. It's essential. So let's get that out there too. So being selfish, it's not what people think it means. So taking care of yourself is not selfish, but it's essential. So what selfish means, that's what I wanted to share. As my notes for that selfish was primarily concerned with your own welfare and your interests and your advantages and everything to do with you, while disregarding the needs of anybody else and what others feel. So selfishness is like self-centered and self-serving, lack of generosity. So I remember one of my teachers, he was a basketball coach and he had a young family. He was there all the time at our basketball games. He was there at the finals and we won. But I could see his wife in the bleachers, and she had the baby and she was all happy too. She couldn't come to every game, but not everybody has that either. Some people have like 3 children, or they've got other commitments and they can't have them there and they have to go pick up the kids. So, but they're trying to do it all. And so I just remember thinking, wow, I really appreciate my teacher for bringing us to these finals for basketball, and for all the teachers that I had. I just loved them. But I do know that the selfish part of it, that's not that's not what this message is. I think that the opposite of selfish is unselfish. Just so you know, if you didn't know that and an educator's telling you, the opposite of selfish is unselfish. It's selfless. So I think I think sharing to educators and teachers and principals that you are I'm just going to tell you, a little bit about yourself, okay? You are considerate, you are generous, you are you're thoughtful, you think of other people. Even before yourself. And you care about the well-being of your students and those you work with and your family. You show concern, and teachers put other people first, but often neglect their own well-being, right? And that's what leads to burnout. So by practicing self-care and setting realistic expectations on yourself, I think that teachers can maintain physical and mental capacity and mental health as well. So yeah.
I think that's wonderful. I think
I
that's a great mindset shift that even we're trying to
Mm.
promote, and you just hit the nail on the head. Really, I love you summarize it in
Oh, thank you.
being
I brought
self
something with me too.
selfish
I brought a
is
life lesson with me today too.
oh okay yeah, being thinking of yourself
This
is
is what I brought.
not
I brought
being
this.
selfish. It's essential. I love it.
absolutely. I was
So
just
I
I
brought
was
a
gonna
little
oh
I brought a
Oh,
little something to show.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're cutting
This,
out just a little bit, but go ahead.
can you see me?
Yeah.
Something with me. this is luggage, and we all have it. But you know what? We all have luggage. But if I was to pull things out, start to give it you, it's baggage. We have things we're going through. I don't think. But if we set realistic expectations, then we can maybe maintain that I have things I've gone through, working through some things, I haven't arrived, but I don't have to open it up to everyone. I can come on here. I can have a new set of friends or tribe on here, understanding other educators and being here for the purpose of supporting one another in community.
Yeah. No, basically that's the main mindset shift that we're hoping to have come about as a result of the community. That selfish traditionally has a negative connotation, but as Stacy pointed out, selfish, especially in the teacher world, it's essential. Chelsea and I talk about this all the time with the oxygen mask analogy, right? So if you are continually putting everyone else's oxygen mask on, you're
Mhm.
going to be dead soon. I'm sorry, I can't think of a
Yeah,
better way of saying it
yeah,
for this second, but
yeah.
you're not going to be able to survive very long. So yeah, definitely there's a positive connotation to the word selfish
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
overlook quite a bit. And as Stacy has said, I love that you framed it in terms of being essential. So I love
Mhm.
that. Are there
Mhm.
any other mindset shifts that
Mhm.
you think would help teachers feel a little bit more fulfilled?
Yeah,
Anything that you
yeah.
want to add to those
Well,
mindset
yeah,
shifts?
yeah, that's a good question. I think, like I mentioned, I wrote down big moments rarely change your life. It's the small ones that do. So sometimes just a small thing like going for a walk on your lunch break, or just maybe you're going to take recess time because you're going to go out with them and get some vitamin D. But so there are quiet moments in our life as well. And so it's not always that we're going through things, but when we do, one of the things that I wrote down is that and these are just life lessons too, I think, but not everything needs to be said. Not everything needs to be defended. Peace is worth more. So sometimes, we'll talk about maybe just not getting along with everybody, right? Like I know it's hard that even coworkers or other people that you're working with, you try your best and maybe, you feel maybe it's not rejected, maybe it's more deflected, really. I don't know. It's more that sometimes we live in this big old world, and sometimes we have different ways of doing things, but we can celebrate differences too. And people show who they are, believe them, and adjust to that. You don't have to fight reality to be kind. You can accept someone for who they are, even if it means stepping back. It's wisdom to do that. And so one other thing I think I wrote here was, yeah, the little things don't feel important at the time. Like maybe these are little things, like just little adjustments. Like maybe I'll have 2 cups of coffee instead of 22. Okay, 20 what? 20. Okay, maybe 15. All right. I'm just saying. What I wrote down was that the little things don't feel important at the time, but looking back, they are everything. So the little adjustments that I made, like an astronaut, he's sitting there with this, and he just makes a little trajectory, and boy, he's like gone. Well, making those little adjustments might really mean the world to you. And we want the best for you. I can honestly say in my 60s now, did I just say, okay, anyways, just want you to know
Your secret safe for the
grandma's in the house.
We're
No,
not telling. We're not telling
that
anyone.
um, you know, not everything needs to be defended. And then I wrote down uh, uh, joy live the ordinary. So sometimes we just wholesome, ordinary things like someone makes you a little something. It's so sweet. Like, okay, when I was teaching at college, some of the students were making me things. I said, what? I love that. Sometimes, like, they would come and they would just like be emotional about something. I'd say, you know what, you're amazing. I don't know if anybody told you that today, but I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you you're amazing. Well, sometimes we just need to understand that joy lives in the ordinary, everyday moments, right? Your children, maybe it's in your neighbor, maybe it's in a niece or nephew, or you're a caregiver after work, or whatever it is, finding one or two things that you could be grateful for in the day. I know that try to write down something. I have 14 chickens out here at my little farm, so I can be grateful for one at a time. As long as they don't get into my garden, I can be fine. Maybe it's a warm drink, a favorite song, the way, like if it's a sunny day, you feel like happy about that as well. These are all small things that help build your, I guess, resilience. Now, listen, I mentioned that I raised my sons. And then 2 years ago, we lost a son. One of our sons passed away. I'm telling you, nothing prepares you for the unprepared things. And then you still have to go and work. You still have to go and be all that. So I just want to encourage you that if you're at a place of loss of relationship, loss of someone that you deeply loved, maybe it's a separation, maybe it's divorce. I don't know. And I know that we're not phased on that, but as a life coach, what I try to think of is how can we grow forward? Yes, we all have our past. Like I mentioned, that bag that, we have baggage. All of us have luggage, and luggage. But you don't have to give it all away as a baggage to at our workplace or somewhere. We can actually have people to come alongside of us and help us. Oh, that's why I react like that. Oh, maybe that's why I feel that way. Okay, I'm going to journal that. I'm going to work through that. It's just a working through things as well. I'm not saying it's easy. Nothing. Okay, anything that's worth, you know, is not always easy. And so with the programs that we offer, the educators, I call them, number one is reignite your spark. I know. Yeah. Soulful transformation, purposeful path. And then there's a special men's program that we have called The Path Forward, coaching sessions focusing on helping men navigate life's challenges and finding direction. Sometimes it's just having that person coming alongside of them and working through goals and things like that as well. So we use the Life Helper tools. We have a men's series as well. We do Q&A, so questions that men may have. We try to address those as well, but we definitely know that it's important for self-care for teachers all across the board, and so that's our greatest thing to start at. Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say, Stacy, I love your perspective,
Aw, thank
your
you.
perspective, breaking things down sometimes. Okay, it's for example, this week, yesterday was the 8th anniversary of my dad's death. So I broke that down for myself this week, dealt with it, and moved forward. And you have to take, like you said, you have to take things as they come, right? Where you're at and where they come. Those are the two important things. Where are you at this point in time?
Yeah.
And where do you want to be? Right?
Yeah.
So my question for you, specifically about teachers, is what role does community in general, that support, play into a teacher's mental health? What does that do?
Well,
And
yeah.
help them?
Yeah. Well, we definitely know that we definitely know that we're not islands to ourselves. And we definitely know that. I'm not sure this is clear on here if I can. Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. Sorry. There we go. So in community, we know that we have one another. It may look differently in our life in that, but community plays a huge role. Um, I know that understanding, like when you go to different education events, you have a camaraderie with other people. You hear them, you see them, you're talking to them, and you're giving your perspective as well. I think sometimes people are shy though too, like they are. Or am I trying to say shy, or am I just trying to say they're not extroverts? They are more introvert. They could come across,
Yeah.
yeah, like is very much extrovert when he's speaking in leadership, and then like he's a quieter person, so not everybody is like, oh hi, how are you doing, willing to do that. But I think if you if a person, this may help, is to say, I'm going to go with an open mind to at least meet one or two people and to talk to them, and maybe when those lunch and learns come up or things like that, that actually will help with, oh, I didn't realize that I could actually share what I was going through because they're going through the same thing. Let me hear how they're going. Like, let me see what they're doing and how they're coping with that. Sometimes we just need to know that, oh, it's not just me. I don't know why we get that way. And so I think community is a great way to be, and this is what this is too. That's what I wrote down. I think I answered, I can't remember. I just had my notes, but it was like finding your people for the time that you can. And it really does help. I remember once I was speaking at an educator's session that they had, and I don't know how many hundreds of people were on there or whatever, but the chat up, why did it blow up? Because I said, does anybody else sometimes feel anxious? And just like everyone said their little things, so we know that we are similar people. We have things we all go through. We are very similar. We struggle. It may look differently on paper. It may look differently on the page that we have in our life, our journal, where we're at in our life. But we're not alone. We have each other, right? We do. If you feel alone, that can be a real feeling. But I want to encourage you, this is what this platform is for as well, to reach out. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like every human has a deep need to feel understood. And
Mm.
it occurs to me that that's, I think, what you're getting at. We're looking for
Mm-hmm.
other people that understand what we're going through, not just saying, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that, but actually have the empathy to say, yes, I understand what you are going through because I've been through that. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's a connection and we feel
Yeah.
validated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
And I think too, if there's an understanding that, like, that what you share, is valid, it's important, and or just through listening, or maybe it's just a matter of talking with a mentor, or in this case a life coach, talking with someone who's outside of the situation. And again, it's growing forward, right? It's not always bringing up the past of things, because that would be for therapy, or that would be for counseling, and that, but for a life coach can help almost in that light mentality I was mentioning. It's like sharing and being able to say, okay, let's get some of these space. And I remember when I was raising my son, I thought, how do I do this strategy thing all the time? But when I was raising my sons, and I was, trying to get my education and so on, I just remember thinking, okay, I need 4 small rules that they will follow. I don't know what they are, but I need them. I need them for myself. right? Your boundaries, your rules, your what you're gonna take to the next level and help yourself through this time. So I hope that through just what people have heard and some of the strategies that we have in place, hopefully that will encourage people to reach out for life coaching as well. Yeah, it's a new school year.
And I do think that sometimes that reaching out part can be hard, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what we're offering.
Yes.
We're offering a less hard version. Like you can see the person, you can see what they do. We're offering a less hard version of this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Well, I think it takes a brave heart. I do. I really do. I understand. I remember one client, a businesswoman, it was difficult at first. And I remember thinking, I don't think there's anything new that I could tell her. But you know what came to my mind? I even wrote that down in my journal. I think she knows everything in my journal. But what came to my mind was, but I believe I'm going to help remind her of a few things. And that came to my mind. So that's how I make my stance. I know that I've never been a principal. I'm an educator, but I've never been a principal. But if a principal came to me or someone that was in a higher position came to me, I know there's nothing that maybe I could do some strategies or a good listener. I'm outside of the situation. I understand that piece. Coaching is different than even mentoring in that way. Coaching is like, okay, like I played travel basketball. I get this is the strategy, this is the play, this is what we're going to do. Well, it may not look like that, but in a way, a coach sees you through a process. As I said, it's the 8P process that I use, and it's called Growing Forward. And the book that I've written is called A Fresh Start, and it comes out, I think, sometime in September. And the fresh start is really, it's not like we're going back to the beginning. It's not like we're learning anything new. But what we're doing is we're taking ourselves right now, whether it's by the scruff of the neck, we're taking ourselves where we are and we're going forward. We're growing forward. And sometimes we just need someone to come alongside of us and cheer us on and to help us that way. So hopefully that has been helpful in describing a little bit about life coaching and the experiential years of education and in experience. I think hopefully will have a lasting effect. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
I
I love the name Growing Forward too.
I was gonna say I love that too. I wasn't I didn't want to talk over Ruth because I think we both love that. Very
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Just I was thinking as you were speaking, some people in my own life, they tend to focus so much on the past, and anytime that it's a specific family member that I am thinking of in my mind, they're constantly talking about everything that happened in the past, and um, I don't think they know how to grow forward, to
Yes.
be honest.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
stuck in these,
Yeah,
ways
it
of the
really
past.
is acknowledging, like it's acknowledging if being stuck in a place, it's acknowledging that, yeah, I am stuck in that. Maybe it's uh, something that's happened to them, maybe something it's not they've done, it's happened to them, or it's a forgiveness issue, or it's something bitter, a jealousy, anything can keep you in that place. I think it's important to make sure that we remember that, like, staying with it for a minute when you feel upset about something, or like there was a woman and she felt very jealous of some things, and she was talking about that quite a bit, and I said, well, have you ever thought that maybe you want to play an instrument? Like, you know, maybe you like that so much.
I, I hold on. You paused. I don't want to talk over you. Oh, are you back? Are you back to?
We're back.
Okay. I don't want to talk over you because I know there's been a little bit of delay. But like I like so like Rue was saying, like as someone who had stuff happen to her, not by choice, in my younger life, right? There was times I went through this kind of conversation with myself, like, is it my fault? Did I do it? Like, where do I go from here? And I think that would have been beneficial for me to talk to someone like you, Stacy. Like, to talk
Thank
to
you.
you
Yeah.
know, to talk to.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't sure what to do with that. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm grown now, and
Well, yeah. Yeah.
but like at that time in my life, I didn't know where to go, what to do. And that can happen to people at any time of life. You know,
And also as educators, like we are dealing with other lives that have been through already a journey, like they're already in a chapter of their life, they've been through things in their life too. And so an educator carries that as well, you know, and of course, you know, tries their best to, you know, be the best in the classroom and to be the best in teaching and giving what you can, all of your resources, and so they can feel, you know, you can feel drained after, it can feel tiring, and then you go home and you know, maybe it's you have to make supper, and maybe you have to this is a late night, and then getting back up in the morning early. So there's a lot of physical and emotional, again, we're back to that too, where and we know that just maybe a small change could help in some way. Maybe it would be a half hour going to bed a little bit earlier. Maybe there would be that, getting yourself that whole preparedness to get ready for bed. You know, getting yourself, you know, your makeup off, you're brushing your teeth, getting like taking your steps to say, I'm going to bed. Yes, I am going to bed. I don't need to stay up any longer. I need to go to bed. I need my sleep. I need my sleep so that I can function next day. Sometimes it is to, someone says, oh, do you talk to yourself? I think, okay, maybe. It's not about that. It's more like saying to yourself, I need my rest. Like I could say, oh, I don't need that, but we do. We know that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have needs. We have needs of life. One of them is our physical need. And I don't know about you, but there's certain things that could set that off. If I don't have my sleep, if I have too much sugar, too much caffeine, I mean, like, that we have to work through in our lives.
Yeah.
But when it comes to past, okay, so something happens and you think, okay, what should I do? I think sometimes we need to sit with that moment and say, wow, this is really affecting me. I really feel sad. I really feel angry. I may feel jealous, or I may feel whatever. It's like, it's staying with that moment for that moment, staying with that to say, okay, this isn't going to lead anywhere if I feel this way. I'd rather take the peaceful route. And maybe it's actually bona fide that you feel that way because of that reason. You can journal that, you can articulate that. But I think that it's when you linger, when you let it linger, let it go. That's the place where the change can't come in, because you're choosing to hold on to that. And so it's easier said to say, just to let it go. There's strategies to let things go as well. So hopefully, you know that when things happen to you and in your life, that there are steps that you can take to say, well, like, I know I didn't do this. This happened to me. It's truth, but I also know that I am a good teacher, or I am a good mom, or I am a good mother. I do love people, and they took that wrong, or and so that's their journey. I do forgive them, and maybe I'm not the best, but I will definitely, when I see them, because I'm just saying there's ways of and being able to shift that to say, I just want to stay in that. Going I'm going to go a different direction with this. It's not going to lead somewhere. It's not going to lead you free to freedom, if that is helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And again, I think Ruth and I, thank you so much, Stacey, for jumping in with us today. We're so grateful. And anyone that's listening, Stacey is an amazing life coach. Put some links down below for you to contact her to see if you want to meet with her. But we're just, thank you so much, Stacey. I know Ruth and I both are expressing that together. Like,
yeah,
we appreciate your time to meet with us and walk through these questions, and it's very appreciative. And again, one more time, anyone that's listening or wanting to, get a hold of Stacey, we'll put those links in the chat for you to be able to contact her.
To hearing from those that maybe were watching, or maybe those that come across this at some point and think, I'm really not sure what a life coach will do, but I know I need someone to come alongside of me in my life at this moment in my life, and I need to grow forward. I'm stagnant where I am, or I'm just keep going around that same thing. And so let's break free from that, and let's move forward with the heart. And that's why I called it, because we need to learn how to begin and again, whatever age, whatever situation you're in, there's always hope. And that's today what Chelsea and Ruth have been over and over sharing, and that's why they started this as well. And I'm just honored to be part of this. It really did bring me to tears when I was telling my husband about this beautiful, selfish way of thinking. When it's so unselfish of you to be a teacher, you're not selfish at all. You're the most unselfish, you're the most deserving person you are. So I just want you to know that you shape the day that you're in and the generations to come. I still remember my beautiful teachers, what they meant to me, how they poured into me, how they told me things. And like, I didn't even know if I could tell time in grade 5. And it was so hard. And my teacher was just like, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in your writing. And I've written books. I believe that a teacher has just that, special touch for someone. So we just want to celebrate you. That's really what we're doing.
Yes, awesome. And letting them know it is okay. It is a good thing. It is essential to be selfish. So, Stacey, thank you so much for your time
Thank you
today. I
again.
appreciate all of your insights. And
Thank you.
yeah, we look forward to having you on again soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruth and Kelsey.
Great. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.